good, Senator. Thank you, Senator Castro. Appreciate it. Take care, Guam. Be safe.
Be safe. Viva GPD. We're going to get to our next interview now. Staying in the Zoom room where we have got the new CNMI Chief of Staff, former Guam Senator Wil Castro. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Alpha Day. Viva Guam. Viva Marianas.
So.
Go ahead. What the hell happened? Let's just start at the beginning, Senator.
Sure.
Just tell us how it got started. I mean, who made the offer? I mean, is this something you've been interested in doing for a while, if you could?
So the short answer is no, and no. The call came on Monday. I think it was about a week and a half back, 2 weeks back, and the governor basically asked me a few questions. Of course, we're colleagues. We're no strangers to each other. And he said, I would like you to serve as my chief of staff. I was right there in my home office, and I almost fell out of my chair, It's like, where did that come from? I was like, Dispensa, Gov? He goes, I would like you to be my chief of staff. And I said, I am honored, sir, but I have to pick up Sis Deb at 1 o'clock. Can I talk to her first? And he goes, yeah, absolutely. Talk to Deb, and then can you start today? I said, sir, how about I talk to her and we talk tomorrow? He goes, okay, can you start tomorrow? And, he's making light of it. But the point is the magnitude of the ask was unreal. It was a surreal feeling. To this day, I wake up in disbelief if this is really happening. I mean, we're talking about less than 10 business days transition. The ask, the process, the arrival, on the job. And so that's how that evolved. And no, I didn't apply. I don't think anybody ever really applies for the position of chief of staff. And that was an overarching reason for my accepting the position. It was to be called upon by the chief executive of an entire jurisdiction was a tremendous honor.
Mm-hmm. And if we could just kind of a little bit more background, because you do have close ties, right, with the CNMI. You were at the NMI College right before.
Sure. So again, yes, I was at the Northern Marianas College as the Director of Institutional Effectiveness. I left my classified job as Chief Planner for the Guam Public School System at the time, GPSS, and it was a great ride. They were a system in distress. They were under what's called show cause, and if you are on show cause, there's only one step remaining, and that's the termination of accreditation, which then disqualifies you from any federal funding and other types of sanctions. And so I came out here, and I worked well with these folks, and I learned a lot, and then I went back to Guam. But because of those relationships, by the way, when I assumed the director position for the governor, Eddie Calvo, we built upon those relationships and began discussions with what you all know as the Marianas Working Group, or the One Marianas Initiative. And then I got elected at the same time. The late Ivan Blanco got elected. We were communicating as staffers, as directors, and then it blossomed because of Governor Calvo and Governor Torres. And then it just grew into something big. And I'm happy that Governor Liu and Lieutenant Governor Tenora are also supporting the spirit of the Marianas Working Group. And I can't wait to dialogue with them when I return next week to a short visit.
Senator, obviously you're entering this position at, well, some would say a little bit of a controversial time. Just wanted to get your take on, just the hearings that are ongoing with regards to some of the questionable spending.
Great question. Why did I anticipate that? So this is the difference between being an elected official and feeling like you almost are obligated to respond based on your opinion, and being a senior staffer. Right. To issues of policy and examination, to issues of ethics and legality, as chief of staff to the governor, my answer is no comment. I can tell you, though, that I intend to uphold the integrity of the office of chief of staff to best reflect the governor and the Commonwealth. I'll look into those matters that have been addressed. Right now, I'm not versed in all the details. I've read the transcript of the JGO hearings, and on that matter, although I've done that, I have no comment.
What is the, I know you're just about a week on the job here, but just right off the bat, it's definitely got to be different from being an elected official, right?
Night and day. It's, when you're an elected official, you're dealing at the policy level. A lot of it is conceptual, and then you scrub it with staff, and then you do some due diligence. At the chief of staff level, even as a director and senior staffer to Governor Calvo, I wasn't privy to this type of discourse at the 30, 100,000 foot level. And it's an amazing view you're in a tremendous position to really effectuate things that don't necessarily require policy. My hat's off to people like Chief of Staff Frank Ariola. It's a tremendous blessing, but burden at the same time. So it's different. Yes, Chris, it's different because now, as a minority senator, minority leader, I had me and my 2 or 3 person staff, right, at any given time. Here we have the entire arsenal of the executive branch and all our stakeholders, commissions and institutional autonomous entities or other instrumentalities of the government to work with. At the same time, my job is not necessarily to advance my agenda. It's to carry out the executive will. And that has many meanings to a lot of different people.
Right on. Man, Senator, I kind of cursory follow what goes on the NMI, but I know that we've had the governor's spokesperson, Kevin Bautista, on this show many, many times.
Awesome.
To really provide like context on how you guys are dealing with the pandemic. But that aside, I had read something somewhere about you had received like a bottle of scotch from the governor, and I'm not sure
what is that about?
If you could.
Well, I'm not going to go into that specific allegation of ethical or unethical conduct. Let me put it to you this way. I invited state representatives from both jurisdictions to my house for a reception. When you come to the house like you would to any family gathering and you bring a case of chicken, I didn't know whether my father would buy it from base and bring it over. So the question of the legality or ethics of what one person does or is at least alleged to have done, that remains with the authorities to define. But as far as I'm concerned, at no time have I condoned, encouraged, or in any way attempted to sidetrack illegal and unethical behavior on the part of coming together as a family or a group of colleagues. As Chief of Staff, I don't have an official position on that claim. As a person who hosted people at my house and have done it every weekend, that's my philosophy in terms of I invite you over in good faith, we operate on good faith.
So you're basically saying that he came with a bottle of scotch and it's not on you to figure out where did that come from?
Well, actually, and let's find out. I don't even remember if he gave me a bottle of scotch or brought a bottle of scotch. I remember I probably have pictures, like 30 people who brought 30 packs of Miller Lite and Bud Light. I seriously don't remember the government.
That sounds like your house is popping, Senator.
No,
wait, is this your Guam house or your NMI house?
This is my house in the village of Barragata.
Okay,
it was because of the humanitarian efforts. You got to remember, let's put this into context too. They just got wiped out by Super Typhoon U2. We delivered, 250 pillows, 2,000 blankets to Tinian by boat. We sent containers out to the CNMI as part of our relief effort. And so that was our way of saying, welcome to Guam. Thank you for embracing us, and them imparting their gratitude. That's what happened that night. It was great. I wish you had been there. It's awesome. It's always good to be with good people. I
got to ask one more. I don't know if Bri has anything else, but we had Juan Carlos Benitez on, and he had discussed I don't know if you saw this interview. All of a sudden, he's buddy with you. He was saying, he was saying, I hope Senator Wil runs for senator in Guam.
I hope that I can serve the Marianas in any way I'm privileged to. I'll put it this way. I'm on a mission, and I'm going to conduct this job and my duties with integrity and with fidelity. I will faithfully serve the Chief Executive of the Commonwealth. If that requires that upon the anniversary of my signing that I resign, or soonest, and the people of Guam find it fit for me to serve in the legislature, I would gladly do it. I don't think we're done yet in terms of serving, but I don't have to be a senator to serve the territory. I love my island. I've done it with the Knights, and I'll continue to give back to the island, whether I'm a senator or not.
I just wanted to ask, you've been on the ground over there, about a week or two?
Yeah. Right. Yes, about a week, because I was in quarantine like everybody else. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, the difference with the COVID response, because over here, we're all masked up, and we have some restrictions, somewhat, in place over here. What is it like over there?
It's I would say just walking out, most people wear masks. I'd say 99% of the folk in a given enclosed area are masked up. But there's no iron fist to say mask up. People do walk around casually without masks. Mm-hmm. And I think they just exercise a lot more caution. Like if you go to a place down here called Salty's, it's like a restaurant. You walk in like any other restaurant, but no one's walking in necessarily with masks, right? It's not like there's the mask police. I think there's a greater consciousness about what it means to be cautious in terms of, masking up when it's appropriate, knowing your circles. And my hat's off to Dr. Esther Munoz from CAC and Warren Villagomez for being very strong and forthcoming on their strategy to contain this pandemic, of course, at the behest of Governor Torres. There are some very unique, progressive things we'll be rolling out that if we get to flush it out at my level before we present it to the governor, that's going to be an out-of-the-box approach to containing the pandemic, and it doesn't require the mass police and other kind of like draconian type, stricter measures. It will require a lot more data and people to be a lot more responsible. But that's not a policy issue. It was an idea that was kind of germinated with Warren just in a loose discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but again, when you get off that plane, I mean, coming from here, right, and you just came from here, we're like week 11 of this crazy surge, just disembarking the plane, going into quarantine like anyone else. Did you kind of think to yourself, like, man, we should be doing this back in Guam?
No, I think every jurisdiction knows its people and context best. I can't speak for the government of Guam. I know that they're trying their best. But yes, you're right. From a personal experience, getting off the plane, I mean, you see people. The first people you see are people in like these gowns, right? These are the protective medical gowns, I guess you can call them. And they're masked up. They have the whole hair thing, like when you're preparing food or cutting, they wear the hair thing and the mask, and you're walking through. It's almost like walking. It's like one of those things in the movies where you walk through this, and everybody that you're passing is masked up, gowned up, gloved up. And then when you come out of there and you go to the quarantine facility, same exercise. You can't even leave your room. I don't know what it's like for Guam, but that was my experience, and it just communicated to me the degree of seriousness that the Commonwealth has towards containing the pandemic, especially in terms of coming from places with a high number of cases. So yeah, the feeling is different. I'm not necessarily saying that the Guam approach is wrong at all. I wouldn't know where to start because I don't have the data.
Very classy response there. I mean, I'll just say when I watch my friends in CNMI on their Instagram, I'm just like so malago, like wow.
Well, I tell you this, but again, back to the experience, the COVID facility, my son's like, hey dad, how is it? I said, oh my God, it's great. I mean, you get 3 square meals a day, but I will tell you, Chris, if you're going to come out here, don't come alone, because it doesn't matter if you're in a hotel, if you're by yourself, not all the Netflix series can keep you occupied for 5 minutes.
I watched Squid Game like 10 times.
There's
right?
no way. But they did their part. And you know what? They even put the meals outside the door, and you got to go get it. And then, it's an interesting paradigm.
I know. You good?
And it works. Apparently it works. It's working.
Okay, well, we're pretty loose with our gift receiving policies here on the show. So if any like blueberry bread or ice keki or figgy should accidentally make its way here via the U.S. Postal Service, it would be totally fine with us. We got our in now, guys.
I'll hand deliver it, right?
Thank you, Senator, for
Hey,
your
you
time.
say you're going to be here next week.
Right on. Yes,
I'm going to try my best to be there at my own expense and then get some business done by meeting with certain authorities. But I'll travel at my own expense next week to be with my family. Nothing's changed in that regard.
So wait, your family's staying here and you're just going back to
I
school?
am. These are the things I probably shouldn't talk about on social media. So the point is, most of my household is there. Deborah Tadella Cabrera, my fiance, is pursuing her tenure at the university, and so she's on a personal and professional mission to finish her tenure packet. And so nothing's going to come in the way of that, and I support it wholeheartedly. And once that's out of the way, I would love for her to relocate, go on sabbatical, but that's up to her. She's the co-head of house, right? We never talk about who's the head of house. In her mind, the strong woman that she is, we're co-heads of house, and so I have no problems with that. And so with that said, they'll be coming here on occasion, and I'll be going there.
Okay. Is this long term for you, CNMI?
Like I said, I on the anniversary date, I serve at the pleasure of the governor, right? So he may say, I don't think this is working out, and I'll understand. At the same time, we'll see what happens in November of next year when our strategic vision is flushed out and the master plan's rolled out at the agency level. And if he chooses to keep me upon the anniversary of my appointment, I'd be so obliged to consider it after discussing it with my family. There's a lot going on, and this is the chance of a lifetime, right? You don't just like wake up and say, I want to be chief of staff. And then, there's a lot more to it. So that's the main reason why I jumped on board. There's so much opportunity here. And I would love to share it with you folks periodically in terms of the visioning and strategic planning processes. It's excellent. They're going to rewrite a whole new chapter for their future. It's going to be awesome. Because of the COVID monies, because of Super Typhoon U2 monies, this is really a chance for these folks to come to the table and carve out a new future for themselves in terms of diversifying the economy. That's exciting, and that's the second reason why I came here.
Right. I mean, we're in the exact same position, but we have little to no detail about where we're going. So congratulations on that,
Congratulations.
Senator. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, KUAM, and to the people of Guam for the opportunity.
Yes,
I'm always available, Chris. You know that.
I
Take
know.
care, Jade.
Sorry I hassled you a little, but you know.
Hey, those are softballs. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Short answer, as a chief of staff, I could say no comment, and I won't lose a vote. Right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just my job.
Good point. There you go.
Stay
Former
safe.
Have a good day, everybody. Adios. Viva Maria.
former Senator Wil Castro, the new chief of staff for the CNMI governor. Wow, looks like he's pretty into it.
Yeah. That was cute, though, when he was like, you just got a call. I'm like, wait, what?
That was also interesting, the way that the governor was apparently selling the position. He's like, okay, so can you start like in 2 weeks? He's like, let me ask.
No,
like,
he said, can you start today?
Yeah, so that means can you start next week? Can you start today?
All right, guys, we're going to take a break really quick and come back with more of The Link next. Good morning.
Are you experiencing financial...
Pacific Matters is a half-hour news, culture, and lifestyle show focused on issues that impact Guam, the Northern Mariana Islands, and the larger Pacific region. Join Tomas